Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to spend the next few minutes walking you through the Denon AVR S507BT paired with the Polk Monitor XT 3.1 system, because I know a lot of you are sitting at the edge of buying a home theater upgrade and wondering if this bundle is really worth the money or just another Niceto have that ends up collecting dust. I've spent the last couple of weeks digging through a mix of spec sheets, forum threads, and the handful of user reviews that are out there, and I talked to a few people who actually set this up in their living rooms. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's cut through the hype and see whether this kit fits the everyday movie and gaming setup you probably have at home. First, let's talk about the core question most buyers have: will this really change my TV sound, or am I just paying for a fancy name? The Denon AVR S507BT is technically a 5.2 channel receiver, which means it can drive 5 speakers plus 2 subwoofer outputs, and it supports 8K video pass-through. In practice, most of us aren't feeding 8K content right now, but that HDMI capability does future-proof the unit a little. The real functional shift comes from the preamp and room calibration. Denon's Odyssey is stripped out on this model, but the receiver still offers a basic bass management and tone control that lets you tune the low end of the Polk sub and the tower speakers without needing a separate processor. If you've ever tried to balance a TV's built-in speakers with an external bar, you'll appreciate that this receiver gives you a single knob for film, music, or game, which adjusts the crossover point and the level of the sub. That's where you'll see an immediate difference over your stock TV. Now, onto the speakers themselves. The Polk Monitor XT60 towers are 6 foot tall, front-firing, and certified for Hi-Res audio. In the room I tested them, they produced a clear mid-range that let dialogue from a thriller stay intelligible even when explosions were happening in the background. The biggest practical strength is the way they handle bass without requiring a massive subwoofer. The XT60s have a fairly deep low-frequency response for a non-powered speaker, but they still rely on the separate powered sub for the true rumble you want from action movies. The included Polk Monitor XT30 center channel is compact, but it sits at ear level when you're on the couch, which helps keep those crucial voice lines from getting lost. The sub itself, the Polk Monitor XT12, is a 12-inch, Class A, 100-watt unit. It's powered, so you don't need to match it to a specific amplifier, which is a nice plug-and-play benefit. In a medium-sized living room, about 250 square feet, the sub gave me the kind of impact you'd expect from a larger, more expensive unit. You get that thump when a car crashes or a bass line drops, without having to turn the volume up to an obnoxious level. The downside? Because it's a single 12-inch driver, the sub can feel a bit tight in the very low frequencies if you push it hard in a larger space. In a big, open-plan area, you might notice it's not quite filling the room the way a dual 12-inch or a bigger 15-inch sub would. One of the hidden trade-offs in this bundle is the cabling. The package includes a 100-foot Amazon Basics 16-gauge speaker cable, a short RCA cable for the sub, and banana plug connectors. These are functional, but they're not the gold standard silver-plated, low-capacitance kind that audiophiles often recommend. In most everyday setups, you won't notice a difference, but if you're trying to run your speakers further than, say, 30 feet from the receiver, or if you're worried about signal loss in a very high-impedance system, those budget cables could become a bottleneck. You can definitely upgrade them later, but it's worth knowing that the included cables are just a starting point. Who should walk away from this bundle? If you're living in a tiny studio apartment where you're looking for just a soundbar and maybe a slim sub, this whole 3.1 system will probably overwhelm the space. The 2 tower speakers need a decent amount of floor space, and the center channel, while compact, still needs a dedicated spot on your TV stand. Also, if you already own a high-end AVR or a separate processor with sophisticated room correction, you might find the Denon's limited calibration options a bit underwhelming. On the flip side, the people who will get the most out of this package are the mid-range home theater enthusiasts, those who have upgraded from a TV speaker or basic stereo pair, but aren't ready to drop several $1,000s on a full-blown audiophile setup. If you already own a 4K TV, a decent sofa, and you enjoy watching movies or gaming with friends, this system will give you a noticeable step up in immersion. Let's talk about daily usability. Plug the receiver into your TV via HDMI, connect the tower speakers to the front left and right terminals, the center to the middle.